All right, let's get into it. Today, we're cracking open an ancient blueprint for mastering your own mind. I mean, in a world that is constantly pulling us in a million different directions, just finding a little bit of peace can feel, well, impossible. But what if the instruction manual has actually been around for over 2,000 years?
So, let's just start with a huge question, one that I think sits at the very heart of so many of our lives. In this world of nonstop distraction and stress, where does real happiness actually come from? Is it from the things we get, the stuff we own, or is it maybe somewhere a lot closer?
Well, according to the Dhammapada, the answer is right inside of us. Now, this isn't just one single story. Think of it more like a powerful collection of the Buddha's most essential teachings. The name itself, Dhammapada, it literally means the path of Dharma, the path of universal truth. It's basically a practical guidebook for understanding and training the one thing that shapes our entire reality, our mind.
Okay, so first up, an ancient guide for today. Because seriously, even though these words were written down centuries ago, they have never felt more relevant than they do right now.
Here's the most important point, the one central truth that this whole text is built on. It's this: your outer world is just a reflection of your inner world. That's it. Everything you experience, the joy, the suffering, the conflict, the peace, it all starts right here, in your head. If you can master your mind, you start to master your life.
And that takes us straight into our first big idea: your mind, your world. The key here is the primacy of thought, the idea that our thoughts come first, and they're the bedrock of absolutely everything that follows. The text basically lays out two clear paths that are available to us at any given moment. On one side, you have the unguarded mind, which just lets thoughts run wild. That leads to impurity and ultimately to suffering. But on the other side, there's the guarded, cultivated mind, one that practices awareness. That leads to pure thoughts, and the result? Genuine, lasting happiness.
There's this amazing verse that just nails it. When the mind thinks good, happiness follows, like a shadow that never leaves. Just think about that for a second. Happiness isn't something you have to go out and chase, it's something that follows you when your mind is in the right place. It's an effect, not some distant goal.
So, if our thoughts are the seeds, how do they actually grow into something real? Well, that brings us to our second point. Small actions, big results. This is all about the law of cause and effect.
And I love this metaphor that Dhammapada uses to explain it. Do not think lightly of small evils. Just as small drops of water, little by little, fill a large vessel. And of course, the same thing is true for good actions. No single thought or little deed seems like a big deal on its own, but over time, they fill up the entire container of our life and really determine our destiny.
The process itself is actually super simple when you break it down. First, a thought just pops into your head. Could be good, could be bad. Second, that thought inspires you to do something, to take an action. And finally, that action creates a result, a consequence that you experience. It's a direct, unbroken chain.
So, where does all this actually happen? Well, it all plays out on this inner battlefield. Our third key idea is about conquering inner conflict, because that is the true path to freedom. This is where the real work begins.
The text doesn't mince words here. A verse from the chapter on anger says it plain and simple. Anger is the root of poison. It doesn't say anger leads to poison. It says anger is poison. It's a state of being that just contaminates our mind and brings suffering, not just to other people, but most of all to ourselves. But here's the beautiful part, right? For every poison, there's an antidote. And the solution here is so elegant and powerful. Conquer anger with non-anger. Conquer evil with good. You see, you don't fight fire with more fire. You overcome a negative state by actively, consciously cultivating its opposite. You meet hatred with love, greed with generosity, and ignorance with wisdom.
So how in the world do we pull all of this ancient wisdom into our crazy, busy modern lives? For our last section, let's tie all these powerful ideas together.
Okay, here are the core takeaways. First off, your mind creates your reality. The world you see is a mirror of your inner state. Second, those tiny little actions matter. They add up drop by drop for better or for worse. Third, real strength isn't about conquering other people. It's about mastering yourself and your own inner battles. And finally, and this is huge, happiness isn't just something that happens to you by chance. It's a skill. It's something you can actually cultivate every single day with your thoughts and your actions. And look, if there's just one verse that captures the entire spirit of the Dhammapada, it's got to be this one. Better than conquering 1,000 enemies in battle is to conquer your own self. That is the greatest victory. The ultimate arena, the most important challenge of your life, it's not out there in the world. It's right here, inside of you.
So, I want to leave you with one final personal question to think about. After everything we've looked at today from this incredible text, what is your greatest battle?